Fellow Africans, every time we are challenged on matters of importance, there is always a path for redemption. The only thing that Kenya needs at the moment is redemption. It's a redemption strategy that can create a coexistence of all the people, all the tribes, all regions, and all shades of opinions. Challenges come at an hour where a country is on a test. Test runs are always the most crucial points. That's where experiments collapse. Kenya is not an experiment. Kenya is a nation that has existed for 56 years. The challenges, therefore, should not make us hate each other. These challenges should unite us, should unite the people of Kenya to push forward an agenda, to follow their president, President Uhuru Kenyatta, in delivering the agenda for a better Kenya. A better Kenya will produce a better East Africa. A better East Africa will produce a better Africa. The challenges, the obstacles that come amongst us are many, but we can overcome them through discussion, a wider range of discussion, wider disagreements to agree and disagree, to agree again and disagree to disagree. But we should not form clubs, units, militias, hatred of that nature that can take us to the history. Germany today is Germany because it doesn't want to go to the path of the history. Germany goes to the path of development. Over 70 years ago, Germany was at war with the entire world. Today, it is on the path of resolving some of the problems that come. I want us to stand in the place of Germany and look forward and backwards. See what we can do here, but not yearn for what is in Rome. What is in Rome is safeguarded, but in Sicily, which is Kenya, we need to build a foundation for the younger generation that we are going to live here today. The many who have no employment, the poverty, the ignorance, the diseases that kill the people of Africa. We need to find a modium of operation. Modus operandi. The only modus operandi on this is a united, peaceful Kenya. A Kenya united by values of respect and adherence to the rule of law. A Kenya without schemes of elimination or fiction of elimination or murders written by themselves. A Kenya without any hatred against the president. A Kenya that supports the constitutional roots that the 2010 constitution of yours brought. That is how Africa will rise and shine again. Thank you.
Good morning, viewers. Thank you very much. Welcome to Punchline Africa Television, broadcasting from the Political Command Center in Africa. Thank you very much. Across in Nairobi, good morning, Miriam Ogutu.
Doc, a very good morning to you. Good morning to Sharon, and indeed good morning to our viewers wherever they're watching us from today.
Thank you very much, viewers. Sharon, across in the city of Nairobi, the county of Nairobi. Good morning, Sharon.
Thank you very much, Dr. Matsanga, and a very good morning to you right at the Political Command Center, my colleague Miriam Ogutu, and to all our viewers who are watching us, whether it's their morning, afternoon, or evening. Good morning.
Thank you very much. Across the globe, Africa, the continent of Africa, this is Dr. Matsanga, live from the Political Command Center. Back to you, Miriam, to take us through this crucial day when President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta will give his last, but not the least. I don't know how you call it. It is not the last State of the Nation address. There is more chance for him to address the nation again before the parliament goes to Palm Sunday. They call it Sunday because it goes forever. So this morning, let's look at the state of the nation. The bumpy road towards Kenya's elections 2022 is bumpy. And our topic this morning is very clear, Miriam. Is the ICC the main trigger of violence of 2022? It looks like, and we are pointing out this, because most of the people we have been pointing out about the judiciary, they came true. We pointed out about so many things, they have come true. I have been crying about the ICC since 2 years ago. And I said Chebukati is missing an election. And you can see is now showing what is it that he is fearing, which he doesn't want these people, the police, who are going to guard the votes, to know. So thank you very much. Get tuned. But before we do that, we want Miriam Ogutu to take us through the main news headlines from Nairobi across the bridge in Kenya. Good morning.
Good morning to you, Doc, and thank you so much for that. So let me take us quickly through the headlines of the leading newspapers in the country today. And on the Star newspaper, how we escaped from committee for more than 12 months inside cell number 6 in Block A. 4 inmates and 2 wardens hatched a daring escape plan. That is the main story on page 4 and 5 of the Star newspaper. World Health Organization opposes flights ban, calls crisis meeting. The story is on page 2, and it's hell working in Saudi Arabia survivors tell committee. That story there, and also the main pictorial on the Star newspaper. Uhuru commends cops for role in COVID-19 fight. So that is what we have on the front page of the Star newspaper. We turn our attention to the Standard newspaper, where the main headline are kidnappers paradise. The story is on page 12 and 13 of the Standard newspaper, and a new milestone for Standard Group. That is the main story on the front page. And cornered Kinoti must serve jail court rules. The judge says no new evidence has been adduced to make him change his mind on decision to jail DCI boss. The story is on page 10 of the Standard newspaper. We turn our attention now to the Daily Nation. And the main headline of the Daily Nation this morning, race for Raila running mate. The story is on page 4 of the Daily Nation, and I would escape again, recaptured terror convict tells court. You find that on page 3. Economy top of agenda as Uhuru addresses the nation today. The story is on page 5, and the concern of a new variant. And then just down there, Kinoti loses bid to avoid prison, and Mwendwa faces 4 charges. You will find that on page 40 of the Daily Nation. So that is what we have today on the leading newspapers. Back to you, Doc.
Thank you very much, Miriam Ogutu. Across the bridge, there is no, I don't know what they said, the song ends up that way. One of the things that caught my eye is the question of this Kinoti issue. What's going on with the issue of Kinoti? who is in Kenya supposed to look after the arms? Once the police pick up arms from you illegally, where are they stored? Who stores the arms? Who keeps the firearms? Is Kinoti the custodian of the firearms? Kinoti is an investigator. He's a DCI. Does he keep the arms? Why is one judge? What problem do they have? Is it personal now? Because every effort has been taken. Even this last evening, the director of the arms firearm institution came out and said, excuse me, we are the people who have these guns, and we want Mr. Wanjigi to come and explain to us. And we look at his state of mind. Is he able? Every day when you have a state of mind which is changed, they remove the guns from you because you can kill people. So what is this? It's something that I don't understand about this case, which I have not gone deeper to find out why is the judge stuck on where he was, what he is doing, which he does not want to relinquish. He doesn't want to leave it. He's saying, yes, I have known this, I have no paper this, I have no, even when he's told that Kinoti is not the man to give the arms. Once the arms are confiscated, let's give an example of cocaine. Does Kinoti keep cocaine? I don't know whether Mr. Kinoti has kept cocaine in his bag, in his house. That once you are free, you are again told to go and collect your cocaine from Mr. DCI. You go to the central government registry where all these exhibits are collected, are picked from. So you don't come and harass the DCI director or the officer of DCI or of CID who came to your house to knock to arrest you, that I have come for my gun. No. Wajamaa, tufanye siasa mzuri. Nchi yetu tutaharibu. Let me speak like a Kibaki. Tutaharibu nchi yaki. We are about to spoil this country. This is a very good country in Africa. A very, very good country. But now, if you tell the director of CID to give you the arms, when the director of CID arrests you with money, okay, let's leave the guns. But if it was money, where is this money kept? Miriam, I'm asking. Sharon, I'm asking. I can see where song has come in. Let's just give our points. That is my point that I have seen in the papers. Another point that I've seen is these guys to tell us that, you see, to give them 15 months is useless. And they have told you they are going to run again. They said, so these are people determined to kill. They will kill you again. They will come out. And at this time, I think when they go in, when they come out, this time they might take even the firearms of them. Their people will bring them firearms, and then they come killing us straight right from Kamiti, going towards Ukambani. So there should be a deterrent action against the escapees. And unfortunately, the Kenyan law that people don't want to touch, and if you talk about as if the Constitution was made from Angel Gabriel, that when you talk about touching the Kenya Constitution, everybody comes for you. Don't touch the Constitution. Even those who don't know, even one single article, you see them on TV, oh, don't touch our Constitution. You see now, the anti-terror laws that were brought in were going to help you. Now you have seen how they bite you. A man has escaped from prison then he tells you, what will you do? I'm going to escape again. And you are sending him to the same committee where he has told you, Miriam, that I worked with the inside clique or prison.
Yes. Doc, and on top of that, they're saying that the people who actually are the warders who helped them escape the prison are still there working. And apparently, I don't know if it's the police or who, the senior official, allegedly, who did not want to listen to the account of events, because they're very honest, apparently, when they were, giving the account of what happened. So what we could be, the people who could be having, facing the consequences right now could be the wrong people. Because according to this escapees, they're saying the people who helped us are still working there at committee. So that is also something that I think the police needs to look at for the interest of the national security at this point.
Miriam, exactly. The people who helped them are inside there. And we have again not handled this case properly. We have thrown these same guys who wanted to kill us, who are going to come out. This time when they come out, they will actually come out with guns. They will go to the armory. You know they can dig up to the armory and take guns and come out and kill us. Committee prison is too old. People have changed. This committee prison was built by colonial cement. Why don't we change and build a new maximum prison? Honestly, that's another thing. That's another thing for the president to think about today. Perhaps we better have a new prison with new technology, even with inborn cement cameras that can see the inmates, because you are no longer needed. Once you are there, you can even be monitored by camera. There's no human rights there now left. Yeah. Does the committee have cameras? Honestly, do they have cameras inside the cells?
Maybe not.
Yeah,
not
the cells. But they should have cameras that monitor any movement on the wall. There is a new technology where you can build a wall and put a camera. If it comes to steal your money and the thinks is walking out to free, Kumbe he has been picked by the camera. Silent ones, well built in the wall, not hanged on so that the thief blows it fast. So let's look for new ways. Why can't Kenya build a new prison? That's the question I'm asking the panel. Miriam, back to you.
All right, Doc, thank you so much for that. And the issue of DC, I think you noted that, but before perhaps I get into it, maybe you hear the thoughts of Sharon Gitonga.
Thank you very much, Miriam, for that question, and of course, Dr. Matsanga, for your sentiments. And I strongly agree with what Dr. Matsanga has said, that for me now, I am, getting convinced that this is a personal issue, because, the DCI's role is to do the investigations, and he clearly, stipulated that the firearms actually, the firearms licensing board are the ones that are actually in possession of the firearms. So he's at any point, he's not the one who is holding on the guns. And I believe for him to have actually reached the decision, it is for the interest of not his personal interest, but for the interest of I'm sure there's what that led him to actually get to the decisions that he made. And he has come out clearly to say that he's not the one who's in custody of possessing civilian arms. So I think this is a case that is now getting personal, and it's not just and probably maybe to a conspiracy, maybe to to jeopardize the executive, because now I believe this is not more, it's not just about possessing the firearms, but the case is in court. It is set to move to the Supreme Court. Let's wait and see how this turns out. Thank you. And then on the issue of, on the issue of committee, I'm also surprised to hear, those convicts actually saying, given another chance, they would still escape. And, these are the things that we've talked about over and over. And I agree with even what Dr. Matsanga said, that it's time that we put in punitive and stringent measures, especially in these prisons, because, even yesterday I think the wardens that were actually, brought to book, and the boss, Mutembei, are actually out of the prison. They are out of, they're out on bond. And it also begs the question of now, whose hands are we safe? Because this case, it needs to really be thoroughly investigated, and not just even in committee. I think you've seen even other counties. We had a case in Nanyuki. Recently, I saw another case in Kilgoris, a police station where, prisoners were just walking out. I think this is something that really needs to be looked into. We talked about laxity and negligence, and I saw a certain post that was, making trends online over the weekend about the police who had, their salaries had been slashed. And I think that is something that probably the NPS could look into, because I don't think it's the right time to really, slash their salaries, because I was actually looking at some interviews of the police, some of the police actually saying that, we actually possess the guns. So if you actually slash our salaries, what are we going to resort into? We will take, they will get back to, bribery and corruption and, talk about terror. So, I mean, even as we try and look into such, stringent measures, I think it's not time to actually slash their remunerations. Miriam, thank you.
Right, very well, thank you so much there. And of course, yes, that issue that you brought up, very important. Thank you, Daniel Wasonga. Very good morning to you. And what are your thoughts on the DCI arrest, and also what the convicts there said, that are given a chance, they would actually escape the prison again?
Thank you, Miriam Ogutu, and a very, very good morning to you. Good morning to my sister Sharon Gitonga and Dr. Matsanga David at our political command center. I'm coming to you live from Nairobi CBD. And of course, the talk around here, it has been that this is an outright vendetta against the DCI. And I believe whatever Dr. Matsanga has been talking about, the activism in the courts, which is much fueled by the monies that are coming from George Soros and other external financiers, is actually the cause of all this. Now you see this particular judge wants to prove a point. How can they give the DCI a sentence without the option of a bail or a fine? That is a very outrageous judgment, I believe, Miriam, because we have people who have committed heinous crimes in this country. We have people who have looted public monies, people who have done serious crimes against the state, and they have always been given fairness. They have been given a sentence with an option of a fine or a bail. So to me, I think that is a bit outrageous. And this is happening at the backdrop of the massive corruption allegation of the judiciary, as even showcased by the former Nairobi governor, Mike Mbuvi Sonko. That tells you that being a rich man he is, Jimmy Wanjigi has the capability of even bribing the judge. Forget about what money comes in through the NGOs and George Soros. Even Jimmy Wanjigi can bribe these judges in that they give, at the end of the day, they hand over a very outrageous ruling. The Firearms Control Board has actually sided with the DCI. And let's say, for example, in this particular country, you are given a license, driving license as a privilege, even in the US, as a privilege, in that if you do something that is contrary to the traffic laws, then it can't be revoked. That is the same thing with firearms. And in this particular instance, we are not just talking about normal firearms, but we are talking about military kind of firearms, which should only be in custody of security agencies and not a civilian. So to me, I think it's a bit unfair on the side of the judiciary. And that is why we need an overhaul of our judiciary. We need to root out these errant judges, these judges who are making rulings that are very outrageous, rulings that are so full of malice against anything that smells of government. You know, we are not at war between the executive, judiciary and other arms of government. That is what these judges must get. And I believe it's a bit unfair. This particular judgment, I believe it should be fought until that kind of ruling is quashed. The DCI is not going to spend any time in jail. The DCI is doing quite a commendable job in fighting crime in this country. He has been able to expose a lot of corruption scandals, and rather than maybe fighting the DCI, we should look at what the world perceives of him. He's been actually been given a role at Interpol. That shows you that this is actually the epitome of excellence. You know, this is someone who is doing their work with excellence. So to me, I think rather than castigating and actually punishing the DCI and sending them to prison cells, I believe we should actually be able to celebrate that we do have such a very well distinguished DCI and be able to look at this matter amicably. On the matter of the terror suspects, I believe that as a country, we joke too much. And as Dr. Matsanga has told you, if someone has the audacity to tell the court and other government officials, you know, the police and all those security agencies, that if they have an opportunity to escape, they'll escape again. Perhaps if they get even, leave alone even a gun, even a knife, they'll go around killing people, you know. These are people who are hell-bent in whatever they want to do. And therefore, Miriam, I think we need to get to the root cause of this. If those people who assist them to escape jail are actually still working in committee, then we should stop punishing the wrong people and go for those people who are doing that illegal business in jails. We were told that in our Kenyan prisons, even where you sleep, you have to bribe to get a space to sleep. What you eat is dependent on the bribes that are moved. Money has to change hands between prisoners, and that money ultimately ends up in the prison warden's hands. So we have rot in our judiciary, we have rot in our prisons, which must be cleared. But on the matter of DCI, Miriam, let us celebrate meritocracy, and DCI George Kinoti has done exemplary well. Rather than focusing on the DCI to go to jail, let us have those magistrates and judges who are corrupt to go to jail first, and then we can discuss about other issues later. I submit.
Okay, thank you so much. And maybe it's about time we had that another prisons reforms like the one we had when is it NAC came to power. Now to our main subject of the day, and then Doc will take over. IEBC pulls out of polls team after Ruto outcry. The story is on page 7 of the Daily Nation. The controversy over preparations for next year's general election has deepened after the Electoral Commission withdrew from a committee criticized by Deputy President William Ruto's camp. The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission has pulled out of the National Multi-Sectoral Consultative Forum on Election Preparedness, arguing that it is infringing on its independence and that of other institutions. In a letter dated November 22nd, 2021, addressed to Interior Principal Secretary Karanja Kibicho and copied to Attorney General Paul Kihara, Chief Justice Martha Koome, and National Treasury Cabinet Secretary Ukuru Yatani, and his ICT counterpart John Musheru, among others, IEBC Chairperson Wafula Chebukati says the technical committee violates the Constitution by purporting to direct the agency on how to discharge its mandate, contrary to Article 88 of the Constitution and Article 249, Section 2 on the independence of the Commission. And so, I see Doc is still busy there, but I'll just quote what Chebukati said yesterday. We are of the opinion that the National Multi-Sectoral Consultation Forum on Election Preparedness, apart from infringing on the independence of the Commission, has assumed the role of the other institutions, notably the parliamentary departmental committees, particularly the Justice and Legal Affairs of the National Assembly, Mr. Chebukati said. So yesterday, Chief Justice Martha Koome formally wrote to Dr. Ruto's United Democratic Alliance, UDA, which has demanded her withdrawal from the committee, explaining why she will continue attending the sitting as the head of the judiciary. The CJ said that there's nothing sinister with her participation in this committee. So Doc, just start us out, IEBC has pulled from that very important consultative multi-sectoral committee that was set up to help the country prepare for next year's election. Perhaps Wasonga, you can respond to that as we wait for Doc.
What you are saying?
Go ahead. IEBC has pulled out of this multi-sectoral committee that was formed, and it's saying, these other institutions are infringing on its rights.
Let's go straight to this topic.
Very well.
Miriam, let's go straight to this topic. Let's open it up. Look here, ladies and the gentlemen. I have said, and let Kenyans listen to me. It is you who will lose. I will also lose. Because I'm your neighbor and I benefit. I'm the neighbor of the people of Kenya. If Kenya goes to chaos, I will be affected. Kenya is the beacon of hope for this region. Kenya is the beacon of peace for this region. Kenya is where we look at every leader who rules Africa. Miriam comes from Kenya. From Museveni, Kagame, Obote, Nyerere, Kaunda. Mention all the leaders who have passed here, who have stayed here. Obote, they stayed here in exile, selling jackal, driving cars. So Kenya is our home. Kenya molds the leadership. Not today, from the word go, the spirit of Kenya has been a very good spirit. Riek Machar, Salva Kiir, Garang. I can mention Djibouti president. All these guys of Somalia, Farimajo, Sharif Ahmed Sharif, Kenya. Kenya molds, and it's still molding more. You never know. We never know. You never know. The song say hallelujah. You never know. Kenya molds people. Kenya is a beacon of hope for these countries in the Great Lakes region. Therefore, anybody stopping us from correcting mistakes in Kenya is an enemy of Africa. And two, we have said, and for me, what will Chebukati do to me? What? That guy there. What will he do to me? I've told you that Chebukati in Mombasa found me, put me in a corner, and told me he prefers who to win this election. Didn't I say it on this TV? I don't hide. I come from the same tribe, ethnicity like a Chebukati. For us, we don't hide, Miriam. We say it as it is. Chebukati is Ruto part 2. You can go to heaven. You can even ask Angel Gabriel, who sits near God every day. And you leave Chebukati to handle your vote in Kenya, you are finished. Why? What is he fearing? How will you hold an election in Kenya without the police? How will you request the police? Who gives the police permission to go? Whom do police report to? I think some of your lawyers are quacks here. And they are like, some of the lawyers are quacks, actually. I think Nairobi University should improve in educating lawyers. I would ask my friend Piero Lumumba whether these are the real material that they educated. You are querying, you are holding an election which is the stakeholders under Electoral Act 2011. You look, I'm enjoying your constitution without looking at it, Miriam. I know what it says. You can't go on your own and tell people you are Mr. Chebukati, Wafula Chebukati, whose brother Chinisi does business with Ruto. You think we don't know? We know. We don't want to say a lot of things. Lakini Uhuru should hear this. Mr. President, hear this. I'm your friend. It's better to tell a friend the truth than lie to a friend. I don't lie to you to get any money. Neither have you given me any money to lie every day. I speak with my views as a Pan-African because I have refugees in my clan, in my district, in my sublocation who are Kenyans. 29 families. They are in my country. They will never come back to Eldoret and the Rift Valley. I can mention them names. And in fact, I'm going to read them. Because when I talk, some Kenyans think I'm a foolish man. I'll read the names of the refugees who are in my county. In my wrong, not county, my wrong constituency. Where I'm born. They have shops. They ran away from Rift Valley. They said enough is enough. They have settled there. We have given them land. They have intermarried with us. We have never chased anybody. And let's let it be known today that, Mr. President, when we tell you this, we are friends. Let people not lie you. We are not, you don't pay us to tell a lie. I am not you, Mr. Agwa Mabek. You are saying I'll tell you. Did I tell Sudan? You also rubbish from Sudan. What are you talking? South Sudan. Kwenda huko. Did I tell it? You tore it yourself between the Dinka and the Nu. Did I go there to tell it? Why are you here mangering? Isn't it because people did not speak the truth? Kwenda where watcher. You did not speak the truth. Wasn't I telling Riaka Machar that and Salva Kiir to be together? Did I spare them? It's the same message. I went to Sudan. I'm the one who created South Sudan. That's why you have even a passport. Shut up. Shut up. So, Miriam, let's be very honest. A man like this one, block him from my show. Or he either listens or he goes off. What South Sudan, what Kiir, Rigwa Mabiak. You are the one who should even shut up. You have killed your own country. Is Uganda in pieces like a South Sudan? Watch however. Or you are hating me because you think I'm Museveni who went to invade you. So I am not one of those invaders, sir. You listen to my statement. I'm not telling. I am advising. I'm telling the truth. The Electoral Commission, anywhere, you are an educated man. And don't block him because I want to educate him. He could be a bad person in the community. Electoral Commission works with other institutions. Okay? They work with other institutions. They don't work alone. In Kenya, the Electoral Commission is saying, go away. We don't want to be part of you, arrange. So how will the courts know what the difficulties? How will the treasury give you the money? How will the police guard the institutions? How? The ballot papers will be guarded by a militia from South Sudan, maybe. We shall import a militia which Ruto could bring from South Sudan to guard the boxes. Because they are very good at militia. So definitely, we need a very serious engagement here. The Electoral Commission of Kenya with due respect, is behaving badly. The chairman is showing some signs, some weaknesses of everything. I am telling you, Mr. Ki Agwa Mabek, I don't want to exchange. I'm busy. I don't want to exchange. If you want to listen, you can write what you want to write. But if you write abusive language here, I'll block you. I've given you respect. I don't block people. I have played my part for peace. I am not the one who invaded South Sudan. Please. You know the person who invaded South Sudan. Go for him. So don't put him in a category of people who invaded South Sudan. So, Sharon, for me, my point, is very clear. And my point is, whatever is happening in the Electoral Commission is an embarrassment. We have only 8 months left, Sharon. There is a very big war here. The people are not even decided. People are not yet decided. People are not decided on what is supposed to be done. We had the commission of inquiry. It said, please, don't try to mold an electoral commission 24 months before an election. And what have we done? We have done the contrary. We have done the contrary. Me, I don't see it is a bumpy road towards these 2022 elections. There is a war. One part of the border is closed. There is a war in between Ethiopia. The Ethiopian border is closed. We don't know which other border could be closed. There is hunger and famine striking the northeastern parts. The pastoralist people are dying. Some people are not eating food at today. There is a pandemic which is coming again, a new one. People are going for big rallies. Nobody is advising people to have masks. Nobody is telling people to keep a distance. We are now, sowing a seed that could explode in the months to come. That's all I'm saying, Sharon.
Thank you, Dr. Matanga, for your sentiments, and I agree, largely with what you have just said. And when I look at IEBC, they tend to behave like toothless, bulldogs that cannot bite. I saw one of the posts that they had, issued out on social media to call out, for early campaigns. And, if you looked through the letter, it was actually, it was an appeal. It's like they were trying to beg, the UDA people to stop, with the early campaigns, because from where I sit, I understand there's a huge difference between an appeal and a directive. Now, coming back, to your question, of the IEBC and, pulling out from the multi-sectoral agency, it begs the question of are IEBC under an influence of a certain party to do whatever that they've been doing. And we said it here before, categorically that, there's no conflict of interest at any point. If anything, all these bodies have to work and put in, concerted effort for us to, have what we all desire to have, a free, fair, credible, election come 2022. I tend to think now this is a conspiracy to politicize the judiciary, and they would talk about the Ministry of Interior and the Ministry of ICT, because election is a process. It is not a one-day off event. Yeah, so if for us to get to a point of what we all call and what we all aim to have, the free, fair, and credible elections, all these bodies have to play their role. The judiciary is mandated to question party nominations. When you talk about IEBC preparedness, they are also mandated to conduct the petitions and to receive complaints after every period of election. So what they are actually doing is what is actually their mandate, and as long as they are not intervening or jeopardizing directly the elections, I think there's no problem from where I sit. Well, IEBC could be independent, but they are not autonomous by any chance, and Kenyans have lost confidence with IEBC, and when we hear them actually pulling out at this time, it also it also begs the question of confidence and accountability that has been lost. And I think the best needed to work together for them to even keep updating us, and that is the only way that they could give back confidence that has been eroded to the citizens. IEBC has what we call, when you fail to plan, you actually you plan to fail, and that is what they have they have done, and they have proven before. Look at what they were mandated to do. They failed to conduct standardization. They failed to conduct sensitization of public masses. That's why we were not able to even get to the to the voter the voter target that you are given. They have contravened different by elections. So I mean, they should stop behaving. They should not stop coming trying to behave in isolation, because at the end of the day, we need trust that has been eroded. We need accountability, we need transparency, and the only way we can achieve this is having all the bodies that are mandated. After all, this is just it's not a permanent sitting at the multi-sectoral agency. It's just a temporal to actually cushion us during the period of campaigning, and during the whole to question the whole IEBC preparedness. So for us to actually get free, fair, credible elections come 2022, all these bodies have to work together and put concerted effort. After all, there's no one who has said that they're actually contravening or trying to jeopardize with elections. Thank you, Dr. Matsanga.
Thank you very much. Wesonga, add your voice.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Matsanga. And of course, I'm always of the opinion that if Lady Justice Martha Koome was maybe at the helm of the judiciary as the Chief Justice in 2017, perhaps we wouldn't have had the 2017 presidential elections being annulled and bungled by the court, because she would have made some progress and some efforts in actually looking at the IEBC and making sure that everything is in place and IEBC works as per its mandate, not neglecting some few lacunas that will actually enable the court to actually bungle the election. Because what good does it do to a country if all the stakeholders who are supposed to be able to help the IEBC prepare for the elections ignore the preparedness only for a case to be brought before them, and they realize actually there's a mistake which IEBC was doing in solitary state, and therefore the election has to be to be cancelled, and therefore that means more expenditure to the country. And right now we are in the middle of the pandemic, Dr. Matsanga. So I believe, like Sharon has said, preparedness is everything. If you are here to give me an axe to cut down a tree, I'll spend more hours sharpening the axe and then less hours now to cut down the tree. So that is what happens. We cannot have IEBC floating the laws of procurement. We cannot have IEBC taking for granted the infrastructure in terms of technology, in terms of vote transmission. We cannot have IEBC even being neglected in ballot paper printing, and then you just say that the multi-agency committee cannot come in and be able to correct and give guidance to Chebukati on what he's supposed to do in that the elections are sufficiently seamless. I believe this is a height of ignorance for Chebukati, and he should actually allow himself to be guided by the experts in those relevant the areas that are need those particular people who have been selected in that committee. For example, in matters legislation, let the Chief Justice give direction so that we do not have an election petition coming to the Supreme Court and then you find no reason rather than just annulling it. In matters of preparedness in transmitting the elections, let us have Ezra Chiloba guiding the IEBC of whatever it should get on its end so that it could actually go hand in hand with whatever the Communication Authority of Kenya has. In matters of even logistics and security, let them sit down with Dr. Fred Matiang'i, the CS for Interior, and Dr. Karanja Kibicho, so that they tell them this is what we need during the election day, this is what we need during the campaign's time, and therefore the Ministry of Interior will be able to provide that they need as a commission. And even though the National Intelligence Service also should be involved in this, it's all about the preparedness, the election, and after the election. So I think Chebukati is someone who is working for William Ruto. That is no doubt, because his body language speaks so. Before he could go to that particular first meeting of the multi-agency committee, was he not aware that it was illegal to do so? So to me, I think this excuse that the committee is actually overriding the mandate of other agencies, I think it's just a simple excuse of him getting out of this particular conversation so that he ensures that he spearheads a very bungled election that will benefit none other than William Ruto. Dr. Matsanga, I believe preparedness is everything in terms of IEBC. And if Chebukati thinks that the office he's holding is a small office, then someone must remind him that the lives of 15 million Kenyans are actually resting on his shoulders. If those elections will be bungled and the country sinks once again into chaos, then Chebukati will be the one answerable for those people who will lose their livelihoods, people who will lose their lives, and the chaos that will erupt thereafter. So to me, I think we should not leave this kind of discussion at the whims of Wafula Chebukati. I believe the government can come in whichever capacity. Let all stakeholders. I've seen Moses Kuria, who is perceived to be a Tangatanga adherent, has also said that IEBC is refusing to be accountable to the stakeholders who are interested in these elections. And that is the pure truth, Dr. Matsanga. I believe if IEBC is very true to itself, let it be open, let it be accountable, and it can be only accountable if it will invite the Chief Justice, the Director of Communication Authority of Kenya, Ezra Chiloba, the Minister of Interior, the PS of Interior, and any other agencies, including political parties, to this multi-sectoral agency committee, which will ensure that everything is done as per the constitution. You realize, Dr. Matsanga, that just recently, IEBC had overseen a very flawed ballot procurement process, and it was sent back for the second time. So this tells you that these are a commission which is actually full of ineptitude. This is a commission that in 2017, it bungled a presidential election, being the first one over a period of 2 decades to bungle an election in Africa. So I think Chebukati is so dangerous to be at the helm of IEBC. I submit.
Thank you very much, all of you. My comments are as follows. And this is a takeaway so that we can go and prepare for the presidencies before we go to the presidencies. This is a particular takeaway for this speech. Before I come to the state of the nation, what we expect President Uhuru Kenyatta to say and to touch on and what can be done and what has been done. The Independent Electoral Boundaries Commission and electoral commissions across Africa always create chaos before and after elections. They create chaos because of several factors. One of the factors that the Independent Electoral Commissions in Africa face is lack of logistical solutions. Things like money, funds to purchase goods, lack of materials. You have seen in some countries in Africa across, people vote through plastic basins. They cut plastic basins and cover. Some use cardboard. These are some of the things, obstacles that Africa faces. The second obstacle that the electoral commissions across Africa face is lack of coordination with stakeholders, the police, the security agencies, the people, the schools, the courts. The courts play a part in stakeholding. They are stakeholders of an election. Justice Martha Koome is a stakeholder. She's not saying she's going to tell people to select so and so, but she needs to understand so that we save the money that will be used in petitions. If there is a smooth, transparent election anywhere in Africa, where is, because all stakeholders were on board, political parties, secretary generals must come in that meeting. Representatives of political parties must come in that meeting. That is what and when you get a free, fair, transparent general election results across the board in Africa. But the moment you deny stakeholders the right to know how an election is not an event of the day. It is not on that day that it has been inaugurated and you finish your vote. It's a long process. The Kenyan election, therefore, is already a miscarriage. We have missed up voter registration. People did not turn up. Wafula has been busy enjoying looking for tenders. But election, as soon as the last election ends, as soon as it stops and you announce the winner, the law mandates you to begin educating and recruiting new voters. But in Kenya, the Electoral Commission chairman chooses to do things the wrong way. And I want to tell my friend Ki Agwa, it is not me who will tear the country, it is him. It is him who has brought a wrong method. You are supposed to register new voters immediately. You finish the other election. You are supposed to educate people. Voter education is not there. Darling, obstacles, challenges, transmission. These are the things that have killed Africa. We vote, we return home, the vote is tampered with. These are the obstacles that Mr. Wafula Chebukati should be fighting, but not the obstacles of excluding you deny the police the chance to know what type, what budget, Kibicho is the one going to who pays those policemen. Kibicho is in charge of their records. Kibicho is the one who knows who is a good cop, a bad cop. The commissioner, the inspector general of police reports to the minister of interior. Is the boss. So if you deny the minister of interior to be part and a parcel of the process of preparing for elections, you have killed yourselves. And that election won't be worth it. Therefore, time has come for perhaps President Uhuru Kenyatta to intervene. On 23rd September 2016, in this country, same country called Kenya, the Chief Justice Maraga chaired an election meeting in 2016. It's not a lie. 23rd of September in 2016, the former Chief Justice chaired the same type of meeting for preparedness. Mr. Chebukati was the commissioner. Did he reject it? Did he reject it? Why is he rejecting? Comment. Those are questions for you Kenyans to answer. Mine is to bring out the seriousness of why elections in Africa must always be and should never be a trigger for violence. But the one of Kenya, to me, I submit, would be a trigger for violence. Therefore, viewers, that's my conclusion. Sorry. Moving on, I want to introduce the soccer takeover.
Thank you so much, Dr. Matsanga David. And of course, your analysis and your insights actually now bring to fore the kind of double speak and double standards that we have in this country. If in the previous years these people have been doing their job without so much noise, then why not this particular juncture when now perhaps the tables seem to have turned? Why didn't ODM or maybe Raila Odinga or NASA or COD come on board and tell the multi-sectorial agency not to actually be able to hold these particular meetings? So it comes to reality that these particular meetings have been happening, only that before then the players, maybe the opposition, did not see anything maybe peculiar with it, or maybe smell some kind of malice. But you realize that Wafula Chebukati, the IEBC chair, has only come out to pull out of these particular talks simply because the UDA has raised some concerns about the role of the CJ, which is a very, very uninformed notion about the CJ, because history now confirms to us that the CJs, including the former Chief Justice David Kenani Maraga, they have been sitting in this multi-sectorial committee on elections. So to me, I think Chebukati has to choose whether he wants to serve the people of Kenya and actually close his ears from hearing the noises that come from the UDA side, because UDA of late has become a body or maybe a party where there is every kind of lament. You know, UDA is always complaining about anything and everything. Anything that the government does, UDA sees as therefore it has become like an opposition party in government. So to me, I think when Chebukati succumbs to such juvenile pressure from UDA, then it tells you that actually he's working in behest of William Ruto, who is the UDA party leader. And to us as Kenyans, we are actually watching Chebukati closely. We shall not allow Chebukati to send this country to the dogs. We cannot allow a few selfish individuals in UDA to work with him neither to actually manipulate the elections of 2022. And we cannot manage to have the luxury, Dr. Matsanga, to sponsor another repeat election simply because IEBC has floated the laws and the legislation that are put in place to ensure that we do have a free, fair, and credible election. It will be a big expense to the people of Kenya and the government, which is actually right now focusing on more vaccine rollout so that we can be able to do away with this particular pandemic. So to say that we're going to be wasting another billions of shillings to have a repeat election simply because Chebukati walked out of a very, very critical committee on elections, then I don't think Kenyans should agree to that. We better have a caretaker committee, to just handle the elections, or rather, I would call on those commissioners in IEBC not to listen to their leader, Wafula Chebukati. They have an independent mind to make sober decisions in regards to the election. Even as Wafula Chebukati pulls out of this committee, I will encourage all well-meaning commissioners in IEBC to continue engaging other stakeholders to ensure that we do have free, fair, and credible elections. They should not listen to any other individual who has decided that they want to walk the Sugoi way. So to me, Dr. Matsanga, we still have hope that we can salvage this country.
It's exactly 56 days before Kenya heads into a general election, and the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, the body charged with overseeing the election, was today holding a 3-day national elections conference at the KICC in Nairobi. The conference brings together different stakeholders like political parties, the civil society, and international observers, with the IEBC set to use it to cement its rallying call of working together towards a credible and peaceful election in 2017. The elections body using the opportunity to showcase how the voting process will be conducted. Here, a mock election conducted.
Just briefly, your parting shot on the elections.
Thank you very much, Dr. Matsanga, and of course, so much has been said, and I don't repeat the same remarks that have been given out, but in a nutshell, IEBC should clearly know that they cannot succeed in isolation. They have to accept the caretaker team, or rather the multi-sectoral agency, to come in and so that we don't repeat the same mistakes that we had during the last election in 2017, I actually expected the IEBC commissioner, if he really not to just resign from the multi-sectoral agency. Perhaps maybe if the kitchen is too hot and he cannot survive, why can't he do us a favor by also resigning from IEBC, so that probably now we can be able to move forward, because he has proven he has proven that now he cannot be able to conduct a free, fair, and credible election, given that now he's under influence from a certain political party. But as I conclude, for us to have a free, fair, credible election come 2022, all stakeholders have to be put have to work together, have to work hand in hand, so that we clear the loopholes that we had 2017. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's look at the President's speech this afternoon briefly, and find out what you expect the President to say today. I don't know why
an echo that's coming from the background.
Are you hearing me now?
Yeah.
Okay.
The echo is gone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's look at the president's speech this afternoon. Let me go through to read for you what I, as David, that I thought about that the president is going to talk about. First of all, the president's speech today, the State of the Nation, is going to touch on a number of things that Kenyans want to hear today. And I had jotted some things. I think Wesonga always follows my Facebook. I wrote something this morning. Yeah, I got it. The State of the Nation today, and as a legacy, Sharon, you and I will agree that the president will talk about jobs. How does he guarantee jobs for the younger generation, the youth, the unemployed, against the backdrop of COVID-19? That too, the president will talk about business, how we do business to stimulate economic uplifting of our people. The cost of power, KPLC. You know very well that Madame Monica has actually put KPLC to a proper footing. And the people there now are not joking. People are beginning to realize where power is. They are being told to reapply and make the application known. The president will also talk about corruption in the sectors, seven of them. Point number 4, the president will also talk about public housing. He has tried in his legacy. Genuinely, there is a move towards getting better houses. And better houses for the people of Kenya is better houses for everybody. It will improve, maximize economic. The president will also talk about infrastructure. Everything, when you go across Kenya, you find roads being built. Infrastructure development, the railway, the water, the blue economy, everything is moving, is working. The president will talk about food, climate, and climate changes that are affecting the food patterns, the drought in Northeastern. He will touch about that. The legacy trend has investigated and found out that the food safety and the food security still has bottlenecks. We have plenty of food that has not been bought.
Mr. Speaker,
from the farmers, the maize.
It is right and fitting to look back on the achievements of the 11th Parliament before setting out our plans for this Parliament. The 11th Parliament was charged with the task of implementing our new Constitution, making enabling laws to create institutions which the new constitutional order called for.
In a judiciary, when you have high money, you walk out.
Mr.
When
Speaker,
you have no money, you go to jail.
There is no doubt
That's why even the prisoner
walking
and the escapee told them,
this
I will
part of
be
the
back
journey
like a Schwarzenegger.
has not been easy.
The president also will talk about
what is
the
encouraging
fight against terror
is that we have made
security of the
significant
country.
progress
And on this one,
in
I want to
implementing
give
the new
security
constitution.
agencies from the National
The laws were
Intelligence Service.
passed,
You have done a great
counties
job for
established,
this country. And
and as such,
you've done
the new
very
constitutional
well.
order
You did tremendous,
is in place.
and I'm very impressed.
I take this
Some of
opportunity
the things
to thank your
security in
predecessors
Kenya is up
for
big,
discharging their
probably,
duty
in most of
so well.
the entire country. The security,
Now, honorable
information
speakers,
gathering, intelligence gathering,
let me congratulate your members,
100%.
both the
On
newly
democracy
elected
and electoral laws,
and the returning
to
ones.
brief people about the elections, the oncoming elections. We shall hear about that. On education, I support Magoha on CBS. Build more classrooms. Let the people know their children as they come from school. Do some homework with your child. That one I have no regrets, but I support. One of the things that the president will speak about is the question of corruption, the fight against corruption, which should be the pillar of his legacy. We need more efforts. There are more efforts needed in the next 9 months left for the president to fight corruption. We want to see big fish in the new committee prison, not this one where people escape for stealing government money. I think all in all, those are, to me, some of the things that the president, and on international scene, the Pan-African vision, the internationalism, the Kenyatta of international approach, the way in the United Nations Security Council, the Pan-African Peace and Security Council, PSC, SCC. These are some of the things that the president in the AU, the war in Ethiopia, the war in Somalia, the war in Central Africa, in Mozambique. These are the things that the president is going to come to talk to the people of Kenya. The legacy trend therefore concludes by saying, Mr. President, thank you very much. You've done a job. We look forward to do our final entry into Jerusalem with a legacy that you leave, the legacy you have brought, the legacy that you will carry, the legacy that will help the international new generation and the generation of the people of Kenya, alleviate the poverty, disease, ignorance that have killed this country and African countries for a long time. I submit, therefore, that those are some of the key issues that I saw the president touching, that he might touch on them. It's not necessary that he will take each and everything that we have said here, but those are the key issues. Your final submissions, Sharon.
Thank you very much, Dr. Matsanga, and of course, you have outlined actually quite much of what I was meant to say. But you know, I am also quite anxious and have big expectations, given that this could actually be the last, or maybe there's another chance to actually address the nation. And you also understand that this is actually confined and anchored by the Constitution under Article 132, where he's actually expected to give a report and, you know, an address to the nation on measures, you know, taken and the progress achieved in the realization of the national value. You've talked, you know, extensively about the state of the economy. So that is one thing I am also quite expectant to hear him talk about, because this is actually an elephant in the room. when you talk about energy, you talk about the cost of fuel that has seen the cost of the living going up. Another thing I definitely expect him to touch base on is on the progress of the Big Four Agenda Action Plan. When you talk about universal health care, talk about food security, talk about manufacturing and affordable housing. In terms of healthcare, I believe much has been done, especially at the national government, but there is still so much that needs to be done, especially at the county governments. We've seen before, we've had before of counties that have really dragged down, especially when it comes to healthcare. We still have very poor very poor very poor conditions of we talk about drugs, and talk about we've had strikes on and off, especially at the county level. So that is one thing that I'm hoping that he could also talk about. And when we talk about food security, there's I remember there are some preliminaries that were actually put in place during the Mashujaa Day that he actually outlined clearly. And I think one of the major things that he talked about was agriculture, which you actually understand that is a very it's a vital component, and agrees that keeps the wheel of most of the farmers around the country moving. There's some money that was meant to be pumped in the agricultural sector. He talked about subsidies. He talked about fertilizer. So I'm sure he will actually be bringing us up to speed on how far we are. Have we started rolling that yet? When you talk about education, there's also some money that was pumped, especially in the CBC, to see the construction of the classrooms. So I'm sure that is also one thing that he'll also be bringing us up to date. He'll also talk about the issue of food shortage, especially now that we are experiencing climate change, and there is a report that I was seeing saying that over 2.4 million Kenyans are actually facing the drought and famine. So I'm sure those are the things, some of the things that will actually be outlining. He also talked about security, and I'm sure this is something that has been of concern, especially lately, seeing what is happening, in our country. So that is one thing that I'm sure he will actually talk about. And there was something that was very commendable yesterday, where he witnessed the graduation of 2619 of new police officers. So that is one step towards the right direction. So when it comes to matter security, I'm sure he'll also be talking extensively on that issue. Finally, on matters international scenes, just like you outrightly put it, I'm expecting him to also address on given that he actually Kenya sits at the UNSC as a non-permanent member, I'm sure he'll actually talk about the current stalemate in different countries across here. And also another thing I'm sure he'll also touch base on is the current and the new variant, COVID-19 variant, Omicron. I'm sure that is one thing he's also going to talk about, and probably also update us on how far we are, in constructing, or rather, because I remember in Mashujaa he also talked about biovax, where by next year April we are meant to be making our own vaccine. So I'm sure that is one thing that you would also want to talk about. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sharon, for that contribution. You have brought out and reinforced some of the things that I have said, and brought out that COVID new variant, which has just arrived. We are not aware of what might happen, and scientists are still working out to see which are the best ways of having it wiped out of the surface. Wesonga, final, thank you very much, Sharon. Final party, your parting shot.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Matsanga David. And of course, Sharon and yourself have actually been able to exhaust these particular matters, perhaps the expectations of the majority of Kenyans on what the president is going to talk about on these particular days, State of the Nation address. And we have to look at whatever is at hand at the moment, and that is the new COVID variant. I believe he's also going to talk about the security situation, not only in this country, due to the terror alerts that have been coming in the recent days, but also the regional security situation in Ethiopia, which he has been playing an integral part in. We saw him the other day traveling to Addis Ababa in a day and coming back. Also, we are more expected perhaps to just get an update in measures the government has taken to lower the cost of living. Of course, we've been seeing a very gradual decrease in commodity prices, as well as also energy commodities like petroleum and cooking oil. We also expect the president to talk about infrastructure, which is actually his biggest achievement in his second term. Now he has done massively in improving infrastructure, not only around Nairobi, but across the country. The coverage in road construction, he has actually more than tripled whatever President Mwai Kibaki did in his 10-year tenure since 2002. Also, we expect perhaps the president to talk about the incentives the government is more likely to bring on board to cushion Kenyans against the ravages of the COVID-19 pandemic. Remember, this has been a long-going pandemic. It is now going to the second year, if I'm not wrong. So I believe he'll also be actually able to talk about that. And last but not least, I believe he will, because this is the last State of the Nation address this year, and people are heading for Christmas, I believe the president will actually be able to guide Kenyans on what is expected of them during this festive season. And above all, I wish them a very, very
to look back on the achievements of the 11th Parliament
for Christmas and all that.
So
to me, I think I'm very, very much optimistic that the president is going to speak about issues that touch the lives of a common man, issues that are actually impactful to this nation, and what prospects the country hold for its citizens going into the future. So it's all wait and see. But from my end, Dr. Matsanga, I'm very, very optimistic of whatever the president is coming to talk about. Remember, it's only some few months before the end of his tenure. And of course, he has accomplished most of his legacy projects. So Kenyans are going to be seeing perhaps what the government has been up to, or
what is encouraging
a particular juncture.
Is that we have made significant progress in implementing the new...
Thank you very much, all of you, this morning. Thank you from Miriam Ogutu in Nairobi, from Sharon in Nairobi City, in the Nairobi County of the legacy trend, our point lady, Madam in the legacy trend. Thank you very much. From you in the CBD of Kenya, Nairobi, from me, from the political command center, miles and miles away from you. Thank you very much. Get ready for the show, for the State of the Nation address by His Excellency President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta at 2 p.m. We shall bring it live to you across the world, wherever you are. Don't panic, it will come to you. But listen to his words in one of the last but not least. At last but not least. Or is it least and not the last? Or whatever you can call it. There will be another one next year. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you, Wesonga. This station is for Africa, with Africa, by Africa. Ciao.
must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.